Hi everyone, I'm Byron. Today I'm reviewing episode 3 of Family Ties, I Know Jennifer's Boyfriend. Just a heads up, I'm re-recording this several days later. I just finished, maybe you can tell by my shirt. I'm wearing the same shirt. I don't think, you wouldn't be able to because I'm uploading it before the other one. But anyway, Oops. An episode called Oops. I just recorded that one, and now I'm re-recording I Know Jennifer's Boyfriend. So if I watch one episode a day, it's been over a week. Anyway. So, Jennifer is friends with a boy. Jennifer's like 11. Uh, and it starts out with a joke about it. The boy is a little odd. He's a little bit of an oddball. And he's Mrs. Peterson, I think. And the kids would call up and say, "Is Mrs. Peterson here?" And Elise answered the phone and said, "I don't know. Not Steve, I don't remember what his name is. Jimmy, is your mom here?" And Jennifer grabs the phone and is all mad because they're calling Jennifer Mrs. Peterson because they think she's Jimmy's girlfriend. Yeah. So one of the first jokes is he comes and goes, "It is unusual an intersex relationship at that age." Someone replies, "It's unusual at any age," referring both to the fact that the guy is really weird, the little boy is really weird, and the phrase intersex relationship is just an odd way to put it. And he likes to recycle, so Alex doesn't care for that. The one thing he says is, "Wait till it's been cycled first," because they grab the Wall Street Journal from his hand while he's still trying to read it. Huh? Oh, we're going to donate the proceeds to the WWF. I don't know why I wrote that down in my notes. But anyway, so there's a classic gag where someone keeps calling you, and so you answer the phone and assume that that's the person who's calling you. And that gag is done here. So Steve answers the phone and assumes it's one of the kids calling to make fun of Jennifer. And so he says, "Look, we don't want you calling anymore. It's not funny. It's annoying." Or he doesn't say it's not funny. He says, "You're not being cute. You're being annoying." Something like that. And he goes, not Jen, Elise, it's your mother. So, classic gag. Never not funny. Oh yeah, we're gonna deliver. That's why I wrote it down. We're gonna deliver the proceeds to the WWF. This is your influence. I hope you know that," says Alex to Steve. And one thing I want to point out: 11-year-olds are not good actors. Anyway, with Mallory's insistence, that's the word, insistence, they decided to have a boy-girl party for Jennifer's birthday. Probably her 11th birthday. 11-year-olds cannot act. I don't know, I may have just said that, but it's worth saying. They cannot act. And so they organize the party, and then Jennifer finally caves to peer pressure, and she breaks up with Jimmy. And this is the point where I'd like to mention that I remember this episode from Nick at Night. I guess it was the second day, because it's the third episode, so it would be the second day it was on. I watched this episode of Family Ties. What can we do, baby, without us? Anyway, so she doesn't want to have the boy-girl party. Jennifer doesn't want to have the boy-girl party anymore. She's all upset. She goes up in the room in a huff. And Elise comes up and tries to make her feel better. And they talk about something about gender roles. It's sort of how it's talked about. Women shouldn't behave a certain way. Men shouldn't behave a certain way. They should behave however they want. And they highlight this by having Jen reading a Sports Illustrated in her room. But they go to her bed. There's about a dozen pillows on her bed. So I guess there's gender roles are fine there. She can be a big old girl in that department. Why do girls like so many pillows? Anyway, and then they don't really make up. They decide they don't really accomplish anything in that. That it's hard to remember because it's been so long since I watched it. Uh-oh. Okay, my audio thing just. I hope the audio was recording. Dozen Pillows, Sports Illustrated. I hope that recorded because my audio thing just turned red. And I don't know what that means. And I remember the audio blinked out the last time I recorded this video. Okay. Oh, and Alex comes down. Alex is great comic relief. He comes down in 50s get up. And he's just like a guy from the 50s, and it's funny. And the beginning, and in most of these, the beginning is much funnier than the ending. Almost all episodes, the beginning is much funnier. And I think it's hard for me to remember what I mentioned before and what I mentioned later because I'm recording this. Because of the way I'm recording this one. But they will. No, I mentioned this. I'll mention this in a future episode. You just wait and see. But they take a problem, and then they deal with it in the first act, and then they escalate the problem, and they do sort of the same thing in the second act. So they have to re-confront it just in an escalated form. So that's how these usually are structured. And anyway, they have the party, and the boys and girls, none of them want to dance with each other. And the girls say, I will dance with a boy if he asks me first, and if he's taller. And so that's how it is. But then, no one dances with each other. But Jennifer walks up, then at the end, Jennifer walks up to Jimmy, who's shorter than she is, and asks him to dance. And then the ice is broken, and everyone has a good old time. So, on the whole, great episode. It's like I said, this is about a family. If it had just been about Jennifer, an 11-year-olds cannot act, it would have been a terrible episode. But the family comes in who are played by grown-ups who are competent actors, and they save the day, and the show works. The show is really funny, and yeah. So, yeah.